Hey y'all, it's Diamond.
Hey, it's your girl Shay.
Yo, it's Jasmine, and welcome to New Age Mamas. What's up,
Welcome.
y'all?
Hey y'all.
Welcome back.
Diamond did the woody woo woo woo. You doing a roll call?
Nah.
How was y'all Juneteenth? Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day. How was y'all Father's Day? What's up?
Shout out to my black people. I just want to say that it was good.
It was good, and we got a black dad on here. So exciting!
I'm gonna
Yes.
start doing my sound effects on y'all with drum rolls. I'm gonna hit it out for y'all. I got practice later, not on this episode though.
We have Shay's fiance. Is that weird, y'all saying
That's not
fiance?
weird, right?
A little bit, not a whole lot,
Not a whole lot.
No, it's
Well, we're gonna say congratulations again.
Right, because we didn't say congratulations to you, so congratulations.
Thank
You did good.
I did.
You see her tap with her hands to show the ring. She.
Okay. She would use the left hand. Look at her.
I love it. So y'all weekend was good though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't do a whole lot much. Enjoyed the family, got outside, enjoyed the weather, cleaned up a bunch.
Yeah, it was nice weather.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we ain't do nothing else.
Father's Day, she treated me. I got a spa day. I normally do a lot of stuff around the house, so
Don't know how to sit down.
She made me sleep in.
What?
Okay.
Okay. Did you get breakfast in bed too?
I couldn't stay in bed any longer. I was
No.
He's like,
You're a good one. I would have stayed in bed.
Yeah, he do not like to sit down, so I had to force him to rest or be like, ask me if you need something. You don't listen.
So it was a good day. Definitely enjoyed my Father's Day. Like I said, spa day in the afternoon. She made me a nice pot roast, so we've been enjoying that for the past couple of days.
So. Okay.
I love it.
Look at y'all. Coupling.
Very domestic, right?
Look, y'all practicing. Y'all is husband and wife for real.
Yeah. Gotta get it in early.
Okay.
Right? Diamond, what you do?
Look at us asking each other. I chilled. On Father's Day, my aunt had a block club party, so we went over there, chilled, relaxed. Yeah, it was pretty relaxing. I tried to get my boyfriend breakfast in bed. He was out of bed before I made it out of bed, so it didn't work. So, you want some breakfast? Nah, we could just get to lunch. So, cool. That was that. But everything worked out. Everything was well. What you do, Jazz?
I had a bridal shower. Then I had we did a barbecue at my grandparents' house for Father's Day. So we had steak, lobster tails, and broccoli and corn. It was nice. It was relaxing. We was outside in the backyard.
Oh, y'all ate good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ain't invite me.
I'm sorry. Look, my mom is the one who put everything together. I was just tell me how much you want me to send. I don't even have the capacity to host anything right now.
Still cooking. We love to see it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, my dad barbecue. We ain't make nothing.
But he the father.
Right. I was gonna say you got the father making barbecue.
My dad is very picky, so
he only eating his barbecue.
My dad. Yeah, some people they be like, this ain't right or this off. So it's just best you make your food and you make all our food. So because he's real picky, so I'm just like, go ahead, do you.
So his Father's Day gift, y'all leave him alone on the grill.
Exactly. It was a good day.
Jazz got her
It
hair
was a
done too. You got
Yes.
look to the
y'all.
bride. Okay.
Y'all see me? Y'all see me? I got my hair done Thursday. I told y'all I was taking that hat off. I was tired of coming on here bogus. Look, I was tired of coming on here bogus. But y'all, let's get into the episode. Let's get into the episode because my stuff already messing up. And while Bun is away, let us adults play. So
We did.
you hit the rhymes. You hit the rhymes. So wait. First, do you want us to say Terry or Dwayne? Because Shay done got us with
They
your
get
full
mixed up.
government name. Yeah. So what you want us to call you?
Let you explain.
So we familiar, so y'all can call me Terry. I've always, for the most part, gone by Terry. It wasn't until I got into my mid-20s that I really started to use my first name, and it's kind of more like formal. People who don't really know me like that, so y'all are safe to call me Terry. That's all.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Right.
Look,
They
we
get
cool.
Right. Just say, if you cool, you call me Shay. Y'all call me Shay. But people who don't know me like that, I tell them to call them me.
Leon Shay.
Exactly.
I don't even think some of our listeners know your real name.
okay.
I forget your real name.
That's fair. That's fair. It's Leon.
I- Leon Shay. You know, I literally forget your whole full name. I be like, her name's Shay Shay. And somebody was like, where Leon Shay? I'd be, who is that?
Because people who around me, they call me Shay. If you go with me to work or somewhere and you hear Leon, I'm like, that's what they call you. Who is that? That's me.
That's me.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay, nicknames. Look, I need to give me a different name.
Jasmine.
So when I first found out his name was Dwayne, I thought I had been bamboozled.
Really?
You thought you was played. You thought he told you a fake name.
Who is that? Oh, that's my real name. So you've been going by a fake name? No, that's my middle
Yeah. I guess I'll let us get into it. It'll probably come.
name. Okay.
Yeah, look. Now let's get into it so we can get the history so everybody know what's popping. I don't think everybody know what's going on. Okay. So, even faced with a surprise pregnancy during COVID and a new relationship, Terry stepped up immediately to grow into all around family man he is today. When he's not doing things like shooting his bow, riding his bike several miles, and honing in on skills in carpentry, he is focused on being a great example to fathers who grew up without their father present. I'm going to say Dwayne. Terry works hard to be the best that he can be for his family. A life so far removed from his old one. Welcome, Terry.
What up, Terry?
Thanks for joining us.
I'm gonna practice on my saps. Woo! Got
Yes.
practice.
Woo woo!
There we go.
I ain't losing.
He like, I'm getting myself. And if I accidentally cut one of y'all off, let me know just because I think my screen is glitching. So y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. So look, so tell us about yourself. Tell us about your childhood, the role that your father or a role model, stepdad or mentor grew up like. Tell us about yourself.
I guess childhood experience. All in all, I would say it was a pretty normal childhood. Grew up in a two-parent home. Although my mom did divorce my biological father early on, he was very absent. It was a very unhealthy relationship. So I didn't officially. Well, I knew him, but I didn't really have form a relationship with him until 25, 26.
Wow.
So, and I guess, like I said, it was a normal childhood, but it was a lot of trauma in our household. I guess I would say. My mom and my stepdad had their relationship, and it was a solid relationship. But I guess from a child's perspective, it really wasn't one of those relationships where it was like towards us, like fathering from my stepfather. He wasn't really hands on, so I guess
Mm,
I never really looked to him as a role model. I mean, I did, but I never. It was never reciprocated, I guess. I mean, and that was just based on the dynamic him and my mom had. Nothing to necessarily do with me and him, but because of what they had going on, we were just never really close. So I guess it kind of turned me into this lane of always looking in selfward for that type of guidance. I had older uncles and whatnot that I'd pick up stuff from. Just watching my stepdad. There were things I learned, but I kind of just picked up pieces here and there. I never really had a male role model kind of guiding me, like, this is what you want to be doing. This is, why you want to do these things. This is how a young
mm,
man's supposed to carry him. My mom was definitely more hands on and was more of the mother and father role for me. I guess that coming up was kind of weird because it was like, I got my stepdad here, but I see you filling both roles. You're the
right.
disciplinarian and you're also the person who I come to when times are hard. And so I guess adapting that mentality from her, I kind of within myself just learned to take on this mentality of just taking everything on my own. So I
Mm.
mean, okay, you want to say
Okay,
something?
I had a question for you. So, do you feel like, especially since you did have a male in the household, but he really wasn't taking on that father figure role or mentor role, did you feel yourself wanting that from him or somebody else?
All
Or
the
was
time.
it just like, I'm just used to my mom handling things and he's just here?
I definitely wanted it. I played sports just to try to form a bond with them. I liked sports, but I didn't really care much for organized sports. But it was what he was interested in, so I played basketball, I played football, I ran track. Just he'd show up to those meets, and I'd be all right. Well, I get time with you here. He's an auto mechanic. He's owned his own car shop his whole life. When I could, let's go up to the shop, spend time with him. And it wasn't always like, hey, let's you guys come up here with me. It was more so he would be focused on his work and what he was doing, but any chance I really could, especially in early childhood, I sought that relationship out. Like I said, so the reason why I guess I don't have a problem saying it, my mom came from a split household. I guess there was trauma there, so she was always you know what I would say one foot in, one foot out on having you know the split household and the potential of my stepdad mistreating. And I think that
Mm,
kind of enveloped this. I'm just gonna be that overprotector and I'm gonna cover it all for my kids. And I
okay.
could, it came from a loving place, but I don't think she understood how damaging it was. To have a father in the house, to have that male role model present, but to never be allowed to get that attachment with him. And it was never any doing of my own or his. It was just, I'm gonna respect my wife and keep the distance that she once kept. But at the same time, it's like, well, when your teenage son starts lashing out and you've never taught him, this is how a man carries himself. It was always hard for me to receive the punishment or the scowling looks or the disapproval because it's like, well, you never taught me to do otherwise. So
Hmm.
now, because I've made a mistake or I'm learning something and it's not something you necessarily approve of. So it's like I definitely sought it out, but after a while, it kind of just it fizzled away, and it became the relationship it was, and I navigated it as that.
Nice. So, do you think?
Oh,
Oh, sorry, Diamond. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, do you think he knew his role as a stepfather? Or he, like you stated, he didn't probably want to step on your mom toes. Or he probably looking at it like, when step parents come in, it's like they look at it what they can and can't do to a child that isn't physically theirs,
Yeah.
that isn't, biologically theirs. Let me say that. Like he probably didn't think he can discipline you, or he probably didn't think he can teach you to do this and teach you to do that. Like he probably looking at it like, okay, mom is handling mother and father role when it comes to this. Like, do you think he, like, basically, do you think he knew his role as a stepfather? Like,
I think I think as a stepfather, he wanted to be in that role. So the conversation has definitely been had between us.
That's
But
good.
he was, I wanted to step in. I wanted to be there for you, but I was tasked with, your mom setting these boundaries, and it was either I'm
okay,
going to be in this fight every day with my wife and potentially lose all of this, or I'm just going to bow down and accept it the way she wants it. And that's what ended up happening. I think it hurt him, and I think that hurt is what I felt a lot from him because it was, man, I want to tell you this ain't what you're supposed to be doing, but I also know when I step into that realm, it may potentially cause, a problem with my wife, which is now I'm fighting two fights. And so I,
Mm.
like,
that's understandable because like he was in the middle, so that,
yeah. And so
yeah,
as an adult, and having my own family now, I definitely understand. As a child, as a teenage boy, it was like, you know, you see I don't have a dad. Why won't you step in for me?
Mhm.
See me do
Mhm.
things to try to get your attention. Why won't you step in for me? And that was what I internalized. So I
Mm.
like now we don't have a bad relationship, but we never had that opportunity to really connect. He was never somebody I could lean into. So as a man, I don't.
So when you do try to like when y'all do like stuff, you be like it's kind of weird.
Call them for Father's Day. Hey, pops, how's it going? Just want to wish you happy Father's Day. Let you know I love you. Oh yeah, love you too. Same. Y'all, what y'all got going on today? Not much. Shay got me chilling in the bed this morning. What y'all got going? Heading to church. All right, I'll holla. Good.
is
Yeah.
it like that for your dad now that you started back communicating with him, like your
So
biological father?
my biological father, that is a completely different can of worms. I love him. I understand everybody has their struggles. My father was a serious addict. You know, he had his struggles. He chose that over his family, and it still haunts him, and he still struggles with it. And as much as I love him, I won't allow that to intrude into my space and into my peace and to affect
Mhm.
my family. So I love him at a distance. You know, I feel like until you can be honest with yourself and start to do the work to heal yourself, you could never love me the way that you say you do because you can't love yourself. So
Mm.
as much as I love him and I value the relationship I have with him now, it's very limited. I don't like when we first reconnected, I was calling that all the time. And I've made trips out there to see him, but it's still that same addict mentality that he carries. That
Mm.
Have he met you all's daughter?
yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
good.
he's good with her. A lot of joy for his granddaughter and everything, and I think she loves him. The time that she spent with him, she loves him.
Mhm.
And I think that's why it hurts me in the way it does is because I don't want to keep her from him. I don't want to keep him from her. But before I allow him to do to her what he did to me, you just won't know her at all.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Set your boundaries as a parent.
and that's all. The door always remains open. It's just, there's just certain character traits where I'm just like, you shifty, you going
Yeah.
through and it's, years of, for me, it was years of promises. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show up.
And so
Never did.
you don't want that same like absence being with your granddaughter. I mean
Those
your granddaughter, your
promises to be
daughter.
there and not showing up. Like I'm 29 years old. I ain't never received a birthday card from my father, but I can
And
count
people
the
remember stuff like that, like you just said.
count the years that he called and hey son, my birthday's in November, so middle of October, I'll be blowing the phone up, son, I'm coming to visit, son, I'm coming to visit. The middle of November come around, I don't hear from him until the next year.
Hmm.
It's just, those type of memories linger, and I don't hold that against him, but it's just like until I can see that your character isn't that, I don't want that potential. Because and not even so much because I can't save Milani from anything, but if I could save her from anything, I don't ever want her to have to view him in that way like I do.
Right. Right.
So
Well, with you dealing with, your biological father, your stepfather, and growing up as a young man, when with you and Shay dating for a short period of time, and then you all finding out, hey, like we're about to have a kid, what were your emotions finding that out that you were about to become a father? Like, how did you feel knowing how you already felt with these two role models in your life, or these two males that's already in your life, and now you're about to become a father?
I was terrified,
Mm.
absolutely scared. I told her, I'm like, and that was just my stance. We adults. You pregnant. I could never ask a woman to have an abortion. It's your choice if you choose to. But and my perspective was always like I knew what I was doing when I didn't wrap up. So that was my consent. And I was, and not just as other choices on you, but whatever you end up choosing, I'm gonna make sure I adapt to. But I was scared. I felt like I had zero preparation to be a dad.
Mm.
Felt like I'd seen the men in my life be fathers, but to actually know that, like, okay, this is happening. Like, we actually gonna have a baby, and in a year's time, I'd be responsible for something other than myself, somebody other than, well, two people other than myself. It was just
You like, I got a whole family now.
like, just in those early months of her pregnancy, it sunk in. Like, it was a crazy time. COVID had happened. I lost my job, was trying to find work. Feeling like, man, I'm not gonna be prepared to bring this kid into the world. And like I said, me being the type of person who kind of just folds into myself. I'm terrible when it comes to asking for help and reaching out for that lifeline. And I just was like, all right, do like I'd always seen my parents do, just muscle down and push through it. And so I was just like, all right, well, I told myself, I'm like, well, whatever you got to do, just do it. You know, work the extra hours. Figure it out, however you figure it out, and you know, God's blessing happened the way it's supposed to happen, and it did. And I feel
So
like,
did oh sorry, go ahead.
but no, you're good.
So did you when you found out y'all were pregnant, did you have any guy friends who were already dads, or anybody that you can talk to about how you felt?
I mean, I got friends who are parents. I don't really keep a close network of friends like I used to. But I reached out to my uncles. I reached out. I mean, I talked to my stepdad and my biological father about it. I reached out to the men who were in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely got insight from them. But hindsight, actually being a father, and have been a father for some years now, I look at the advice that I was given and how much of take what applies, and then you toss the rest off to the side. And I took it all in, but a lot of it was like, I'm gonna forge this own path for myself. What advice I was given that works, I definitely use, but I feel like just that generation before us that our parents came from and the parents before them, you know, black men, they didn't really know how to, you know, love with warmth in their households. They weren't really taught to. And so, you can't teach the next generation how to do that. It was, you got to be strong on them. You got to be, you got to, set those standards early. And it was just like, I hear all of that, but I grew up under all of that. And I remember how that
Mm-hmm.
child and, the expectations held and those strict rules and, do it because I said do it, but never an explanation. It was just like, well, there are things I definitely hear you guys giving me, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and figure this
Mm.
out. I feel like will be most beneficial to myself and to my family.
That makes
Oh,
sense. That makes
preach.
what you say, Shay?
Right.
Preach.
You so funny. So did you feel that, or how did the pregnancy announcement affect your relationship and like your family relationship? Like how did this affect your life?
Um, I think my family was shocked. I don't think my parents at all thought I was prepared to be a father at all. I was the black sheep in the family for a while, and they were kind of like, you think you ready for this? I ain't really got no choice, do I?
Gotta get ready.
I'm gonna have to get ready, and we got your back and we support you. I appreciate that, but I think early on, I still kind of knew like, I'm gonna head this on strong on my own. How it affected me and Shay's relationship because we had been dating so early. It definitely put a strain on the dating aspect. You know, I was 100% okay with having the kid, but at the same time, I was a little like, man, I'm gonna lose this. It's just me and her, and like I said, I'm perfectly okay with it, but just there was definitely that period of time where I mourned that, where it was like, man, that just that freshly in a relationship, because I'd been in love with her for years.
Oh.
I'm gonna cry.
Kind of like I didn't expect it to go the way it went. Grateful for everything and how it has happened, but it was in those moments it was like, man, I just wanted her to be my best friend and my girlfriend for a little bit longer. But I wouldn't change it at all.
Oh. Yeah, we finna cry. Okay.
Ah, look at you being all sentimental. That's supposed to be the hard one.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be the hard one. Terry finna make me
Right.
cry over here. Okay, so with you and Shay like having a challenging pregnancy and like delivery, traumatic delivery, as her partner, like how did you navigate through that? Like how did you cope with that? How were you supportive to her? Like how were you feeling?
Um, Up until delivery, I moved out to Evanston to stay with her because I was
Okay, Evanston. I forget Shady. It was in Evanston.
uh, yeah, hometown Evanston. So I moved out to Evanston to stay with her. Like I said, I had lost my job at the point in time, so I was looking for work. Found it. Like I said, it was also COVID, so it was like wasn't nobody hiring or nothing like that. Like I got a job at FedEx for like 2 weeks, and then they let me go. And then I ended up getting into carpentry shortly after that. It was probably a few months before we had her, and but I guess I tried my best to do everything. I remember I was making her fruit bowls every day. Making sure she got to work when I wasn't working, just taking her to work, going and sitting back, trying to clean up the place. Keep myself busy, trying to prepare my mind, for what was to come. And then the pregnancy itself, it was COVID, so it was just me and her there. I felt very overwhelmed, just because you couldn't do any other classes. There wasn't really a whole lot of information other than what you could find on the internet. I, I personally feel like during that time, because of how the risk of exposure was, I feel like they were kind of planning, bringing women in. I didn't want her to. They told her to deliver early. We're gonna induce labor, and she wasn't supposed to come the next day. And I'm just like, no. I thought maybe we should wait on it, but I'm like, it's my first kid. I don't know anything. The doctor says it's time is time, and then when the labor just seemed exceedingly long, and it started to seem like doctors weren't doing what they were supposed to. Like there was the nurse who forgot about her in the room, and
Mm.
I'm. Or she got family calling. I had one of her aunts call. What the heck's going on in there, and this and this and this, and I'm
You like, I don't know.
I
This is
don't
my first
know.
time.
Right.
what's going on is what's supposed to be going on. And then when they finally came in and were like, yo, we're gonna have to do an emergency C-section, I think that's when it really snapped in my head like, wait a second.
In that
So
moment, were you scared? Like, were you nervous? Like hearing those words?
I was definitely scared. And then just the delivery itself, it was, it was a lot on her, and just seeing what she was going through, it was a lot on me because it was like, you just sitting there, you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that they're doing the best for her, and I guess I coped with just I was telling myself, if she can endure that, the best I can do is make sure that I'm here to be the support that she needs, and put on a strong face so that, if she's scared, she doesn't have to look to me and see me scared. So I did what I could to just, show face and be there, holding her hand, making sure I was by her side at all times, and just
But you're really thinking like, what the world is going on, and why am I by myself?
It's
what is
crazy how COVID they narrowed it down to only the parents in the room. Like you would think that they'll be able to have, besides having a doula or a midwife in there, but like allow another family member, somebody who older who can
I would
calm us down because we're both parents.
definitely been like, yo, bring her mom in here, get
Right.
get somebody in here, just because. And
Somebody help.
my thing was, it was like it was that it was that point where I reached, and it was just that clarification. Wait, was something going wrong, and I just didn't recognize it, and I didn't speak on it, and I
Hmm.
was, and that kind of haunted me. Like if I had stepped up and said something, would this have gone different?
Really?
Mm.
No,
Yeah,
because I wasn't sure what was going on half the time
yeah,
either.
and so I didn't beat up on myself a lot, but in those moments, that
Good.
just like, did I miss something? I stepped out once. I called my mom. I'm like, mom, we've been here for a while. Like, is everything okay? Sometimes these take a long time. Y'all just be patient. How is she doing? So I'm like, okay. I guess we all right then.
She in pain.
Right. She and
But
that shoot.
so
I
Get
thought I
this
was
thing.
dying.
yeah, Melania was like, no, I'm just gonna chill up here. I ain't trying to go. So
So if you could give like fathers advice when they're in the delivery room, what advice would you give them, especially going through such a traumatic delivery and now thinking back, you like, dang, should I what are these signs? Like what advice would you give?
be assertive. Don't be afraid to stand up for what rights you have. Go in informed. Know what, because you go in and you're like, y'all are the doctors. I can't tell a doctor what. No, tell them what's what, and don't be afraid to, because it could go very badly very quickly. And it's, that was my biggest fear. Like, man, if something goes wrong and I didn't speak on it, how do I live with that? So don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to make sure that your spouse, or your girlfriend, whoever delivering the child, is protected, and just be the support they need. They need ice chips, go get ice chips. Many times you need to, help them to the bathroom. Just, and be there. I know a lot of guys don't want to actually be in the delivery room. Like, man, there was nothing like it. Like when I saw the nurse pick up Milani and walk her to the other room, and I said her name, and I watched that little head turn back. It's like, man, she actually know my voice. Like, I can never get over that. Like, that was probably one of the most precious moments of my life.
That is so sweet. Oh.
Definitely, like, you want to be there. Like, I know, like I said, I know guys be like, man, I don't want to see all that. Like, you definitely see some stuff that is like, whoa, but
Probably see, smell.
watching a miracle happen, I look at it like, I can't pop no kid out, so to be able to bear witness to it is, even if you don't watch all your kids be born, watch one of
No,
Mm.
to watch all them kids.
them. I mean, that's
Okay.
going to
Yeah, you better
all.
see every last one of the kids.
What now? Hold on. What you feel about people bringing their Xbox?
I brought mine.
Oh,
You
you
like
brought,
just in case.
Like, no. So after the fact, yeah, get comfortable. Y'all gonna be in the room for a
Once
minute.
the baby was already here.
But while you waiting, I was on my phone a little bit while she was asleep. You know, I get up, walk, go grab something to drink, come back. From sitting in the chair. But I never like left the wing. I think I went to the car
Right.
maybe once. before she delivered, and but stay there. I don't, you know what I mean? What did you need an Xbox for before?
He like, I about had to bring the stuff to entertain me. So question. So since you all are just getting off this, traumatic situation, but a beautiful, blessing. Everything was good with your baby. But now you're moving into a different stage. And now Shay has postpartum, or she's showing signs of postpartum. But how are you handling that?
All in all, how did I handle her postpartum? In my opinion, poorly.
Mm,
I wasn't prepared for it at all.
Did you know what postpartum was?
Before, no. Like I'd heard of it, but in detail, I had no idea. I had no idea what it was going to look like, how it would present itself. And she got low, and I'm going through this, and it was like, all right, well, I'll just take on the load, and I'll carry this, and I'll carry this, and I'll carry this, and I would feel guilty if I reached out to her for help because I felt like I'm putting more on her, and she's already coming to me like it's too much, and
mm,
that way I feel like I hurt our family because I internalized a lot of anger because I felt alone.
mm.
I was bitter because it's like, yeah, you're going through postpartum, but
You
I'm
lining up.
I'm care and I never asked for help. You know and that's one of my flaws. I didn't ask for help, and if I could go back, I would. Babe, I can't carry it by myself. I know you're going through what you're going through, but I'm falling because I ended up falling, and how could I be any good to them when I'm falling flat on my face? And it was just like you should have said something. I hurt her because of that in so many ways.
Mm,
No, I didn't realize it was happening within myself until it was happening. At first it was just, I said I was gonna do what I gotta do. So if that means you changing diapers and you helping her in the way she needs to, be helped. In case she's gonna be stuck in the bed, notice that, all right, postpartum should be down for a little while and she'll get back over it. 6 months in, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And
Shay,
Cause you seeing basically like, okay, yeah, I'm doing the father role, I'm helping out, helping, here, especially when she's tired. But then you like, wait, you not getting up. Like
yeah,
what?
and she was telling me, I told her, I'm like, take the time and space you need. I just when I said that, I don't think within myself I truly understood. Like, and I won't even say I didn't. I didn't take into account within myself that, man, take as much time as you need. Could be a year, could be 2 years. You know,
Mm.
could very well not snap back.
yeah.
And
Shay.
Did
Oh,
Shay tell you she had postpartum? I'm sorry, Diamond.
oh,
Or like, how did y'all find out I have postpartum depression?
um, she definitely told me she wasn't. I'm not feeling myself. I'm feeling low. And then like I said, it just started to present itself. You know, and me ain't got out the bed all day. I can't. You know, all right, I'll go cook then. Man, you've been here all day. What are you doing? I just can't get out of bed. And that's really how it started. I'm just like, all right, I understand it. You're recovering, your body recovering. But then when it was just the emotional, like, man, it's not even physical anymore. Like, you can't get up. What's going on? She's like, I'm not feeling myself. Just, I'm out of it. And then it was like, all right, well, me, I'm live on the internet. What's postpartum? The first thing that hopped up, and I just started reading, and I'm like, all right, this is what this is. And I heard about it, but I didn't realize like this is really what this is. Like this happened, you know. And I think it was especially hard just because we didn't have that solid family support. Like when I leaned into my parents,
Mm.
like, man, get over it. Like she needs to get up. She needs to move. You
Mm.
know.
And then people like that, they don't understand. They just
yeah.
they
And
think she probably just being lazy and
yeah,
don't want to help.
It was the same thing with my family. Like, no, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. You need to do better or whatever the case may be. And it's like I feel like I'm dying. Like this is not something I can control. Like this is something that's happened to me and something I'm trying to get out of. So
Yeah.
it definitely was that on both ends.
So I got a quick question. So Shay, when Terry's saying he think he handled it poorly. How do you think he handled it? Like, cause you might not think he handled it poorly.
I was actually surprised that that was his answer. Um, because I definitely agree, and there were ways where um he did handle some things poorly, but I don't think he gives credit enough to how supportive he was. Um, I was able to take a step back and kind of fall back and just be like that because he took on so much. I definitely like, especially in those first months of that postpartum, like I was even really disconnected from Milani and being a mother, and he took
Mm.
on that role in a lot of ways. And so, he was he in so many ways he is like the reason why I was able to come through because he had my back. He had that support and telling me like you had that time or making time for me to do my support group, making time for me to do therapy, making time for me to do this podcast. Because, that was something I was telling him, like, I need to do something other than just laying around or whatever, to help me get back to myself. And so, he did help me get back to myself in so many ways.
Y'all, they
Even
looking at each other smile.
Right.
You better watch
Look,
this
y'all too
episode on YouTube.
cute.
Y'all better watch this episode, the video, because they looking at each other smiling and
They would have
stuff.
been, oh.
Okay.
I love it. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you overcame that. I'm glad, like, both of you overcame that. And I'm pretty sure that was like a rough time. Still a new relationship, new baby, new emotions, not a lot of help. Like, y'all really overcame that. I'm proud of y'all. And I'm glad that, you all had the tenacity to just keep going because some people don't. And, sometimes like that's when, things break up and families go separate ways. So I'm glad that you all were able to, keep pushing past and really honestly, like you said, therapy also and get the help that y'all needed.
yeah.
Individually, I'm not sure if y'all did together, but also individually and just working with each other and being partners.
Honestly, we floated the idea of doing couples counseling, but we ended up doing individual counseling, which I think is the start of it because
Yeah.
you and that helped us to the point where we didn't feel like we needed couples counseling. We worked on ourselves. And sometimes
Mm.
it's really you just having to work on yourself. There was a lot of things about myself that I had to fix and be in control of, and that only came from me seeking out that help to better myself. Me wanting to be better for myself, want to be better for my family. He feels, the same way. That's how he navigates in therapy. What can I do to be a better person for me and my family?
Mm. Okay. I love that. So like Terry, especially with, already taking like on a big role just because y'all had all this going on and then society is more focused on the woman's well-being and society is like, oh, well, the mom this, the mom that, and how is the mom or how's the mom feeling today? How's the baby? And you really being pushed to not the first, not the second, to the third, to the fourth. How did that make you feel? Like, especially since you were already, you said falling. So
Uh,
how did that make you feel?
um, I guess in mass, I didn't have a lot of people asking me, "Hey, man, how you doing? This, and this." My mom, like, you know, she held that down, like, hey, and in her own way, because sometimes she can definitely be overbearing, but it was always calling and checking, like, how you doing today? How you doing today? I'm so proud of you. You keep your head up. Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. But it was always that follow up with the, how are you doing? And like I said, sometimes I won't answer and be like, I'm doing good and keep it to myself. But I knew she cared. And then my coworkers, so like I said, I'm a carpenter. I work with all guys. Most, and at the time, yeah, all of them were older than me, and all of them were fathers, except for one. So they all knew, like, how are you holding up? And then when postpartum started to set in and it started to affect work, my job was really supportive of me in that, like, all right, we hear what you're going through and what your girl's going through. What can we do for you? And so I definitely had support there and I think that really helped out a lot. Being able to go to work, and still have, a support team there, and then, having my mom outside of work. But I wouldn't really say it bothered me all too much that nobody really checked in. I didn't really do nothing. You know, um, I looked at it like, she just had a baby, and Milani's new to the world, so their health and their recovery, well, her recovery and Milani's growth was what was important. So I didn't really look at it like, oh, nobody's checking on me. Like, y'all checking on my family, so y'all checking on me, and I just kind of, that's how I've always been.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not going. I don't.
Take it to heart. I love that. Well, how do you feel when people say like, "Are you babysitting today?" or or praise you for being a great dad and like, "Oh, we never see." Like, how do you feel when people say, those stereotypical
So,
comments?
so early on, I used to get like looks from older dudes. Like, I'd be walking in the store holding Milani and pushing the cart. They'd be like, "That's what's up, brother." This. I'd be like, I guess okay.
Right, I'm just doing like my deadly rolls.
And then and then I think we were walking around Macy's or something. Man, she was like, "You know how many men in their generation didn't hold their babies?" And I'm like, "Dang." So to see me doing it is like, all right, we see a younger generation stepping up in that way. And so like when they be like, "Man, you babysit," I'm like, I'm not, how I'm gonna babysit a baby that's mine.
Right.
It's my baby, like, and I take it as an opportunity to correct that type of language because I don't think men should view it like that. Like, I gotta babysit the kid tonight. No, you just gotta watch your kid. How are you babysitting? Any night she go out, I'm not like, oh, I'll babysit her tonight. Like, all right, you go out for your thing. I'll hold down the house. Um, I don't get offended by it. I understand the stigma behind it and where it's rooted at, and I honestly look at that as a teaching point to be like, we have us as men really do have to change that. Like, babysit our kids, watching our kids. Like, even if you in a 2 family house, I mean a 2 household family where your child's being dropped off. It's your turn to watch your child. You're not babysitting your child.
Right.
You're raising your kid. So I don't want to see men continue to view it like that as if this is a moment from where this is where I got to do babysitting or things like that. No, I brought this kid into the world. It's an opportunity for me to spend time with that child grow and learn.
So, like, post having the baby and stuff, like after having your daughter, how are you guys like having y'all date nights? Like, are you guys having y'all date nights? Are y'all having y'all alone time? Are y'all being able to work on y'all relationship? We know y'all are newly engaged, so how that's working out for y'all?
Post baby dates for a minute were like non-existent. Postpartum and everything, and going through struggles. And then, I mean, now date culture is definitely getting better. Now that she's older and a lot less, needed to be attended to. And I would say a lot of the dating was on my part. I know she likes me to be the one to step up and plan stuff, and I suck at doing that. So I take the responsibility on not as much, but we definitely are getting out there. We definitely do get our alone time. Like, that's is. It's almost 9, but nah, she been asleep for a minute. Like, she be in the bed at 7:30. I want my time.
Yeah, that's what lucky y'all lucky for that.
Right, y'all.
Now, early on, she was like, we can let her sleep in bed with me. No, she is sleeping in the next crib. We'll put our crib right up next to the foot of the bed. I'm not going to work her out of here.
Oh, so Shay, so Terry, the one who did that. Shay was making it seem like
Right. We thought you had her locked up in the room.
From it. I ain't gonna act like I haven't
Like,
benefited from it, but he was the major push. Like, nah, I want my bed and you to myself.
I'm like, we ain't
I love it.
hurrying up, crawling over, crushing her feet, trying to get her up. But I'm like, no, she is not sleeping in
I
this
tried
bed.
to sneak her in the bed a few times.
Get her out.
You like, I'm cool.
Of it now, she like in the bed, 7 o'clock, 7:30, 7:45. She watch TV till then, cut the TV off. She'll get up, she'll wake up. Ain't no coming in the room, mommy, dad. Nah, stay in the room, lay down.
I love it.
Okay. Y'all lucky because, yeah. Oh.
He started early and then.
But no, it definitely makes. I wanted it that way because I was like, I want our evenings. Like I said, we all eat dinner, sit down. On the nights that she's not recording or nothing's going on, 8 o'clock is literally just us for the rest of the night.
Catching up.
That's the bomb.
Y'all watching Law and Order.
Yeah. Been and stayed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's dope.
So, this one kinda it's a little off there, but so as a father to a daughter, are there any tips you want to give to girl dads? Like, how are you liking being a girl dad? Like, time out. Were you rooting for a boy? Like, what? Like, let's get the scoop on the girl dad.
I wanted a boy more than I wanted to breathe.
I'm crying.
I'm not gonna lie, and having a girl was probably the greatest thing that happened.
Oh.
To any guys out there who are going to be girl dads, be ready because they are going to pull at your heart. It's literally my heart running around on the floor. That's how it feels. Like somebody took my heart, ripped it out of my chest, threw it on the floor, and said, "Watch that thing." And I'm just like, "Don't touch it, leave it alone." And I was like, "But it's gonna change you."
I can't wait to see this like later on down the line, like when she started dating, like how you gonna, act like.
Oh, he gonna be, I can't breathe.
Right.
Well, we gonna raise her, so I don't have to. So neither one have to. I feel like that's the benefit of having a father. Nah, I'm gonna show you that warmth and that love and that attention. Like, hey, she gonna know. Don't bring nobody home to me that ain't gonna treat you like I am. I want her to have that mentality of, you can't treat me like my daddy treated me. I go back home.
Okay.
I love it.
Like, yeah, like, but be ready. Like, for be ready because it's an emotional ride. Like, I mean, a kid in general, but having a girl, it softens you up. I feel like men, we always so hard, and you can't raise no little girl like that. Like, she need that love from me because if she don't see it from me, she's not gonna look for it in men in her future. And so, I mean, like, I'm ready for the bows and the teapots and the tea parties and all that. I mean, she a little rough one, so she like to run around outside. Like, it's been days where we be right outside. She be throwing acorns over a hill because that's what she be into. But spend that time. It's so important. I feel like as a father to be present. They remember it. And at times I'm definitely I'm not gonna say at times, I'm always more of the disciplinarian. Like, earlier today I kept telling her not to touch something and telling her for like 2 days. I popped her hand finally and she ran off and she cried. And Shay sat her down in the chair, told her to take some time and chill down. And it hit me in my head, like, I see her over there and I just see my face crying. I'm just like, man, I ain't never sit down with her and take the time to explain to her why I didn't want her to touch it. And yet she bearing the consequences of not touching it. So I'm like, baby, come here. Like, come sit down with me. She sat down and she hugged me right away, tears still rolling.
Oh.
I'm sorry I hit your hand because I know it upset you. But you gotta understand, like, there's certain times I'm gonna tell you to do stuff, not because I don't want you to do it, because it's only gonna benefit you to not do it. And I had to apologize to her too, because it's like, at times daddy reacts and it don't always be in the best ways. So, you gotta forgive me and work with me. Like, she growing. They kids, she got emotions, she got feelings. And I feel like, we forget that sometimes as parents. But as a father, being able to tap in with your child that way, I just feel like it goes so far. Like, you gotta love your girls. Like, 'cause if you don't
Oh,
know what love looks like, so I try to make sure that's something she always gets from me is just my unconditional love. Even though it can, like I said, I can be the disciplinarian guy. Like, you can always know you can fall.
so speaking of that, then we'll share for Milani's age. She's two and a half, about to be 3 next month, right? No, it's in August.
August, yep.
August, okay. So with for her age, like, give us 3 tips on parenting. Leave the audience with 3 tips on parenting
3 tips on parenting.
that you felt you learned so far.
Buy a leave if you are easily to have headaches.
I'm
Uh,
crying.
if you don't have patience, practice it now. And from me to fathers, mothers and fathers, but especially fathers and black fathers, if you have a child or if you are preparing to have a child, heal.
Mm.
Heal as much as you can. Like, as beautiful, like, don't nobody tell you about the emotions that having a kid invoke in you and the trauma that it bring up in you. And like, they don't tell you what really come with it. Like, everybody always talked about, it's gonna be such a joy. It's gonna be so great, that little bundle of joy. But I swear nobody told me that little bundle of joy was gonna bring up every traumatic part of my childhood that I tried to look away from.
Yeah,
Wow.
Um,
same.
Tell them to preach again, Shay.
You feel me? Cause you snapping.
like,
Shay,
no, for real. Like, if I could
you
leave
must
anything,
having monologues over here.
any it's for real, like, heal, because you
Yeah,
will bleed on your kids in a way that you don't understand
yeah,
by not healing your trauma. Like, especially black men. Like, yo, I get it. Black men, they didn't prepare. Like, the generation before us, the generation before them, they weren't always prepared to be fathers. And a lot of us have endured trauma in our childhoods and in our adulthoods, and we don't talk about it. And then you go on living this hard life, emotionally hard life, being emotion. Like, that was when my fathers were not emotionally available men.
Mm.
you know, and I feel like that's because it was so much stuff that was bottled up inside of them that they didn't let out. And it was, man, you can buy your kid whatever you want in this world. You can do for them as much as you want to, but it'll never be like, man, I can go and cry on my dad's shoulder.
ooh,
So
yeah,
heal so that you can be vulnerable for your kids. So that when you're faced with your child enduring a situation, all right, I done been there and I done healed from that, so I can tell you how to navigate that. Because imagine your kid come through something that you still trying to figure out, and you ain't got no answers for them. It's like, well, where do they end up then? Like,
Or give them the wrong thing to say, do or say. You be, hold on.
right.
yeah, I guess those are my 3 advice, but that's the big one: just heal yourself. Continue
That
to,
was good.
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
Well,
feels. What?
we appreciate you. You was dropping some gems. I wish we had a horn. Brr, brr, brr.
I told y'all the sound. Jasmine then stole my job, y'all. I told her I was the sound lady.
Yeah, it's so
I know.
good.
I seen you do sounds.
Yeah,
I
you stick to
appreciate
the
y'all
singing.
having me on, though. It has
Stick to the
definitely been.
singing.
I've been watching y'all do y'all stuff in the background for a long
You
time, so it's like,
teary eyed.
yeah, I'm being genuine. That's all. I ain't trying to
Oh, we love it.
get that.
Okay. So, as we wrap up, Terry, we just need you to pick our mom of the week. However, it cannot be Shay. So we need you to nominate a mom of the week.
He said it cannot be Shay.
So it can be anybody you know that's a mom, and just give them a shout out, and then we're going to personally shout them out on our page.
Mom of the week. Shout out to my would-be sister-in-law Nadia. She is an EMT down in Macon, Georgia, working some crazy hours right now. My niece, well, one of my nieces is up here visiting to kind of give them a break. I know she's been putting in a lot of work lately. But shout out to Nadia.
Shout out to you, Nadia.
Oh,
Woo! Diamond, I'm gonna get you. And this mic.
okay. Oh, okay. Don't tap the mic. It's hurting Jasmine ears, y'all.
Look, it be like boom, 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 boom. So I already know it's hurting the listeners' ears. They probably got it on full
They
throttle.
should be plugged up to their cars. They shouldn't be having it up with no headphones on. Okay, so thank you, Terry, once again for joining this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, for listening to another episode. Please, please, please make sure you subscribe to our podcast. We appreciate it. We thank everyone for listening, for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter at New Age Mamas. That's NEWAGEMAMAS. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and that's a wrap. Peace.